One of the most interesting cases I ever worked with since I've been studying ethics is Fertilife. Fertilife is a company that preferred to go to Mexico to do their business because they decided that they could do whatever they wanted in Mexico. They didn't feel that the rules that the United States had could be affecting them in Mexico, which is actually true. The situation with Mexico is completely different than the situation with the United States. They had rules that they could actually bend in Mexico. One of the first situations was the payments. They could pay less in Mexico, which is normal. Pretty much outsourcing is the rule. If you can outsource some of your business, you will save a lot of money. That's not a big problem. The problem starts when they find a place to install their plants, their basically their farms to generate their branch in Mexico. They find a company that is having troubles, economical troubles, to continue competing in the market, and they decide to buy. One of the rules, I mean, not rules, one of the petitions that the owner said in order to sell was to keep the people that was working there, so he could like feel that they sold but they didn't affect other people. This is located in a small town which basically just could depend on the economy of the farms. um, the first one was perfect, everything was continue running all right, but after that they decided they had to make a change. They brought managers from the US and Canada, and they forgot about the managers from Mexico that they were there working. They didn't forget, they just fired them. They actually changed the value of the hour for workers, and they also desire to change other stuff, like for example the working areas and the living areas for the employees. Now they were living not as people but as pretty much, I don't even think animals could deserve that. They were sleeping in this really small places, and they didn't have the chance to go visit their families. They could go just once a week at Sunday. They had to go back in the same day. They couldn't pass the night. um, that's one of the worst parts, because the employees were used to another kind of benefits. They actually got no benefits or anything at the end. The worst part to be analyzed, it was, I mean, employees talking about, it was that they trust the company, the new company, and they believe that everything they promised will be kept. The company changed everything. The company changed the way they do business, and they started to affect not just employees but the environment, the local environment. The last owners were concerned about it, and they always protect everything. Now this company came and they decided that they could do waste in the river that was the main source of water, and I mean the only source of getting some of the principal, I mean the main products in town. The flora and fauna were actually dying because of that, and a lot of people were getting sick. In the first part of Fertilife project, the idea was to analyze what was happening. What was happening was unethical in every way. The wasting, the corruption. We have to be honest. They could do whatever they wanted because they were paying people in the government, the local government, so they could get away with it. In my opinion, the best thing was just to close it and let the local population create a better economy with it. with what they left, and let the place get clean and environmentally friendly again. But that didn't happen. So in the second part, instead of getting best news about it, we got worse. The company decided to don't even care about what was happening. The managers felt that they could do whatever they wanted, and they started to sexual harass the few ladies that they were working there. The females were stressed about it, and they went to say it, and the upper management levels uh, actually say something, but not enough to like fire them or anything. I mean, the managers that were doing the sexual harassment, so the situation got worse for the ladies and every employee at the end. They were doing whatever they wanted, so they started changing the way they were fertilizing the land, so the contamination was worse, the wasting was incredibly hard, and people were getting sick, not just in the farm, not just employees, but the community were getting actually sick, ill. That's when they asked for someone in public relations in the public relations department to address the problem and make a plan to change it. The first change was to change the managers. For the local managers that used to work there, they were doing a great job. They just got fired because they were Mexicans. But the American ones didn't do anything. They just had a spa in Mexico, having fun, getting whatever they wanted, having the perfect life, and making a lot of money. So first point was to fire them, then give some compensation to look. I mean, monetary wise, give some compensation to the females affected in the sexual harassment, not just to buy them, because in other words, it's kind of buy their silence, so press won't be pushing that much, but also to let them understand that what they did was wrong, and the ladies deserve it, some monetary compensation. In fact, that actually saves some money because law, it can be, I mean, getting in a case will be one of the problems that the company don't want to have. The second point was to start looking for technologies, local technologies about fertilizers that could grow based on what the company needs, but also what the land needs. Some organic products could be found in Mexico because they have a lot of research and a lot of companies, local companies, working on it. They know what the place needs, and they could perfectly help the environment with that. So that was the second point: change the ways of working with fertilizing techniques. And the third point, give the employees a better hour rate. They just should work 8 hours in two shifts, one from sunrise to 4 o'clock. The other one starting at 2 o'clock, finishing at around 8 9 p.m. So they could actually work the hours that they need without hurting their health. The last point, actually, one point that I believe it was the one that could change everything, start changing the image of the company by offering free healthcare to the little town that was affected by their contamination, and offering a small school, so they could get some education. That's all. These are changes that are not affecting the profits of the company. Just the fact that firing the managers and taking out the mansions that they were spending and living on could actually save money. the local fertilizers for sure will save more money, and they don't have to spend on research because the research is already done. Cleaner environment will be easier because if we're gonna work with organic products, it will be an organic system. Um, Reforestation and adding some more flora and fauna will come with the program, and it will be easier to keep. And giving the employees what they need will actually give them the idea of being in a good company and be loyal to it. So little by little, the company will change all the image, but all this can happen if the upper levels of management will say yes and be will to change it. The numbers are positive, and for sure, the profit will be greater if it's better managed. Thank you.